Hello everyone, welcome to an extra episode on the Craft of the Draft channel. And we've had 3 rounds of boys footy, which is where we see full teams for the first couple of weeks. And we thought, let's be right on brand with the under the radar tag. And we're going to give our standout 22. So we've made a team out of the best 22 players we think have put their name forward or at least elevated to another level this year. So
players who have made a statement.
Yeah, 100%. Statement 22. We're going to go through line by line. We've got 2 individual teams, and then at the end we will make a collective team, and that'll be on our socials if you want to see that again, but we'll obviously go through it here. So you can start.
Okay, so we're starting at the full back line, and I guess the back pocket, I've got Will Brent from the Gippsland Power. He's been one who in both of their games has been very disciplined.
I've got Zayden Lockwood. For the performances he has had, a few shutdown roles in the first couple of weeks, one on Jack Whitlock in the second week.
Yep, absolutely. At fullback, I've got Liam Callaghan. His round 1 performance was very good. He played an anchor role, doesn't lose a one-on-one, and then was very good on the weekend as well.
Adrian Coles at my fullback, just super reliable and isn't losing his one-on-one contests early in the year.
A St Kilda NGA product he is. At back pocket for me, I've got Tom Wenzel. He's a very reliable distributor and has done some really nice things, putting his name on the radar for Oakley.
Some are kind of out of position, not really, but Matt Whitlock is at mine. I think showing glimpses, but I think he's done quite good for, I think, where he should be at this time of year. He's been showing a few more attributes besides just his contest work. I think his exit work out of D50 has been pretty good as well.
I've got Zayden Lockwood on my centre-half backline for similar reasons to you. Good interceptor, good shutdown.
Lockie Jakes takes one of my halfback roles. I think he's been super productive and I think his work has gone quite underrated, but he uses it really well and he's speedy, he's athletic, and I think he's scratched the surface of what he can produce, but he's been one of Geelong's best that hasn't been talked about as much.
I've got Benny Hopkins in mind. He's been really good in each of Dandenong's 3 games. His intercepting work has been first class, he's competitive, and he runs, he guns, and his ball is getting better as well.
Centre half back Cooper Trembath, 19-year-old, but I think he's taken it to another level this year. He's just super accountable now, and he's really not losing his battles. Seems to mark anything in terms of when it comes down. He's took some terrific marks, even go back to round 1. So yeah, really liked his form so far.
Yep, Lockie Hogan hasn't put a foot wrong really for Bendigo so far this season. He played in the midfield on the weekend, but has generally played a halfback mid-rotation and has done so really well. His kicking really sets the Pioneers up.
And then similar to your reasons, Liam Callaghan feels my last back line role really reliable so far. So moving to our centre, who's on one of your wings?
I've got Lucas McInerney on one of my wings. He's been the clear standout winger of the competition so far. That round 1 performance was wow.
Yep, mirror your thoughts. Who's the other wing?
The other starting winger for me is Colin Paul with his overhead ability that we've heard about. They've wanted to try and expose, and he uses the footy really smartly as well.
I've got Connor Lynn from the Tassie Devils. I think his work rate goes a little bit underappreciated, given just Tassie don't get as much attention as the Vic teams do, but he's a really good ball user and very clean and aggressive. Pretty good start to the year. I think you can't really fault where he's gone wrong.
Who have you got in the centre position?
Lockie Hogan. Could have him off that half-back role, but been so tough. You just want him in your team. He's one of those players.
Yeah, another player that's tough and you want in your team is Cody Anderson. He obviously had that statement game on the weekend, but he's building towards it and has been really strong throughout the season as well, really physical.
Half forward. I mean, I should add, my midfielders just midfielders, right? I'm not really positioned just as long as they're in that. Half forward, I'll start Dayton Ureta. Probably didn't play as well in round 3, but his first 2 weeks was so explosive. He's taken it to another level in terms of his productivity. Hits the scoreboard, moves it with pace, finds good targets, but he's one that is pretty eye-catching, and I think he's done really well for his first couple of weeks in terms of what he needed to do.
Absolutely. I've got Jack Ryan off one of my half-forward positions. He's one who works up the ground really well. His running capacity and speed is really impressive, and he hits the scoreboard reliably as well.
I have Harvey Langford at centre half forward. Could argue he shouldn't be in this team because of the status he has, but he's been incredible to watch. His athleticism has blown me away, and I think he's definitely done more than what he probably has needed to. Just so productive, and then you can move him into the middle, and he's so quick and evasive, and yeah, loved everything about his game early on.
I've gone the other Dandenong co-captain at centre half forward in Cooper Hines. I think he's been a little bit more impressive than Harvey Langford. He's obviously so strong one-on-one. He showed that on the weekend and played that real statement game. He's had a really consistent start to the season.
Jimmy Barrett at the other one for me. Yeah, like you touched on in the last podcast episode, he's hitting the scoreboard quite often, at probably an average of 5 or 6 scoring shots a game. He's doing tools work and smalls work at the same time throughout games, and his pressure's been pretty good inside 50 as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got Geordie Payne off another one of those half-forward flanks. He's adapted to that new position beautifully and has that electricity to his game.
Forward pocket number 1 for me, Joe Berry.
Yep.
Just, again, didn't have much of a bottom age year, but we knew he had the potential from 16's level, and he's come in and really been exciting to watch the way he moves inside forward 50. Pardon me. Just moves it so quickly, hits the scoreboard just like that. One of those impact per possession forwards that knows his role really well.
Yep, mirror your thoughts. He's also my forward pocket, the clear standout small forward of the competition so far.
Full forward for me, Will McLaughlin. What's
a small forward
11.
Playing deep? I like it. Okay.
Well, he was playing
Medium forward.
Yeah, I mean, at times he does go very deep. Again, just fits into the forwards category, to be honest. But he's kicked 13 goals from 3 games. Incredible, just athletic ability for his size, and kicks them from anywhere.
I've got Jimmy Barrett as that true marking key forward because of his ability to win one-on-one contests and his strength.
And then my other, which probably plays a bit higher up, but I didn't want to not mention him, was Josh Dolan. For the start he's had, he's super, super opportunistic. The way he moves it inside 50, he's hit the scoreboard as well. Yeah, it doesn't really fit in that position, but I think he has to be mentioned in this team.
Yeah, and Will McLaughlin also in my other forward pocket, just with that ability, like you say, to take marks really good overhead and really dangerous, capitalise on his opportunities.
So you kept asking, who's my ruck?
Yeah.
Joe Pike.
Okay.
So
your justification?
My justification with that is I don't think he's been a standout necessarily, but he's also played some really consistent footy, and that's what really hindered him last year and probably messed his chances up. Obviously had a poor champs and did kind of come back into the form late in the season, but it was just that inability to keep consistent and really cement his presence as a leading ruck, and I think he's done that this year. He's impacting contests and winning free kicks for himself and good in transition. So that's why he sits as my ruck.
I've got Jordan Doherty from Dandenong as my ruck. He's made a statement on the weekend with what he was able to do. He's really athletic, moves really well, and when he gets his hands above his head, he's really hard to stop. He's done a couple of really nice things in the first few weeks, but particularly that round 3 performance really cemented it for me.
Cody Anderson, I'm going to mirror your thoughts there. Yeah, just a bull and been very effective and lifted his game to another level.
Yep, Taj Houghton for me. He's played a lot of midfield time in the first 3 weeks of the season and is really athletic, and that midfield role allows him to show his fitness as well and show his ability to set teammates up, and he's kicking inside 50 as well. He's obviously always hitting the scoreboard as well.
Houghton, too good to be in this team, to be honest. But he's been outstanding. Luca Greco is my last one. Could argue the same thing, to be honest. But he's been pretty good for the Jets so far. I think he's expanding his role just from that running half back to moving into the midfield and being around the contest. And he's gone up forward and kicked a goal or 2 at times. So I think he's building his skill set really well for the Jets and being one of their best players in the 2 out of 3. Well, two games they've played. They haven't played 3 yet.
Dayton Ureta is also in the mix for me. I've got him on the ball. I think you might have had him off half forward, but yeah, certainly his explosiveness is really eye-catching and is putting his name forward for the mid-season draft.
I thought interchange, and I'm not going to kind of go into depth, but Damon Hollow been terrific for the Cannons so far. Yep. Ollie Hannaford, big fan of his football, but he's been really productive for the Rebels who have struggled. Cohen Paul, like you mentioned, and Jack Ryan as well. My interchange bench is, Damon Hollow as well. He's got that really long
foot of his, Lenny Douglas, is really classy and has shown his power in his 2 games for the Tassie Devils this season. Jack O for GWV played that really strong game on the weekend and also played a really strong pracky match from all reports and was quite solid in the first fortnight, I understand. And then I've also got Josh Dolan in there. You mentioned why he's in your team. You've always talked about his opportunism and his prominence up forward. So he's my forward rotation on the bench.
We've put together our 2 teams now. We've combined them into one. So we're going to read through who we think has made the final cut. And again, go to our socials to see that team in a graphic. But I'll start at fullback, Adrian Cole, Liam Callaghan and Ben Hopkins.
At halfback, we've decided on Lockie Jakes, Cooper Trembath and Lockie Hogan.
In the centre, on one wing, Lucas McInerney, Damon Hollow and the other wing, Cohen Paul.
Off half forward, we've got Jack Ryan, James Barrett and Josh Dolan.
In the full forward area, Joe Berry, Will McLaughlin and Geordie Payne.
We've got Jordan Doherty as a ruck. We've got Dayton Ureta and Cody Anderson on the ball.
And then to finish on our bench, Connor Lynn, Zayden Lockwood, Lenny Douglas and Cooper Hines finish it. So that's our Statement 22. This will be a recurring segment that will probably come up every month or so when we see a good 3 or 4 weeks of football in the boys and girls competition. Thank you all for watching. Check out the podcast for a full recap of the first 3 boys rounds, round 3 in the last one, but round 2 and round 1 have been done. Thank you all for watching and we'll see you in another episode.